I was staying at a cheap motel off the highway when I noticed something strange. A man sitting in a white van parked right outside my room. At first, I thought nothing of it. But then I realized he was watching me. Every time I looked out my window, the man was still sitting there, not doing anything, not looking at his phone, just watching my room. I started to feel uneasy. Then, at 11 p.m., he finally moved. Not away. To my door. I heard a knock. "Maintenance. We need to check your sink." I felt my heart drop because I knew for a fact I hadn't called maintenance. I looked through the peephole. It was the man from the van. I didn't say a word. Then, after a few seconds of silence, he tried the handle. I grabbed my phone and called the front desk. "There's a man pretending to be maintenance trying to get into my room." The receptionist immediately sent security. By the time they arrived, the guy was gone. They checked the cameras and found his van had been sitting there since early morning, but he never checked in. And the worst part? Inside the van, they found a set of lock-picking tools and rope. The motel had a strange layout, a long corridor with identical doors. I was exhausted after a long drive, so I checked in quickly and went straight to bed. But at 2 a.m., I woke up to a loud knock. I groggily got up and checked through the peephole. No one was there. I shrugged it off and went back to bed. Then I heard it again, from inside the room. It sounded like someone knocking from inside the closet. I grabbed my bags and left immediately. The next day, I asked the front desk about my room. The receptionist frowned. "That room hasn't been used in years. We don't even have a key for it anymore." I was driving cross-country when I decided to stop for the night at a cheap roadside motel in Arizona. It wasn't run down, but it definitely wasn't nice. I didn't care. I just needed a few hours of sleep. But that night, I barely slept at all. Because at 3 a.m., someone tried to break into my room. I had just fallen asleep when I heard it, the clicking of the door handle. I groggily opened my eyes, still half asleep, thinking maybe I had imagined it. Then, a soft knock. Not loud. I sat up, heart racing. Something about it felt wrong. I didn't move. Then, the door handle turned again. Only this time, it wasn't just a jiggle. Someone was pushing against the door, testing to see if it would open. I didn't want to go near the door. Instead, I grabbed my phone and slid off the bed as quietly as possible, moving to the corner of the room. I texted my dad. "Someone's at my door. Don't know who." Then, I peeked through the peephole. There was a man standing outside, mid-40s, wearing a baseball cap and jeans. I didn't recognize him. Then he leaned forward, pressing his ear against the door, like he was listening. I backed away from the door, trying not to make a sound. Then, another knock. Louder this time. Then the man spoke. "Hey, your car lights are on." My heart was pounding out of my chest. I can hear it in my ears, because I knew for a fact I hadn't left my car lights on. I stayed silent. Then I heard something that made my blood run cold. The keycard slot beeped. He had a key, and he was trying to get in. The security latch was the only thing keeping him out. I scrambled to call the front desk, whispering frantically into the phone. The woman on the other end didn't even hesitate. "Lock yourself in. Security is on the way." Less than a minute later, I heard heavy footsteps running toward my door. Then a man's voice. "Hey, step away from the door." The guy immediately backed off. by the time I worked up the courage to peek through the peephole again, he was gone. The security guard stayed with me while I checked out that night. Before I left, I asked him how the guy had a key. The guard just sighed. He didn't. He was using a lock-picking tool. I never stayed at a motel alone again. I was staying at a small motel in Florida while visiting family. Nothing fancy, just a place to crash for the weekend. But on my first night, I heard something strange. And to this day, I still don't know what it was. I had just gotten out of the shower when I heard a knock. Not on my door. On the door next to mine. I figured it was just a guest getting a visitor. But then, the knocking didn't stop. It went on for at least 5 minutes. I peeked through the blinds to see if someone was standing outside the next room. But there was no one there, just an empty parking lot. The knocking finally stopped. I went back to getting ready for bed, trying to ignore it. Then, I heard another sound. A voice. Coming from inside the room next door. It was muffled, like someone was arguing. Then, a loud thud. Then silence. I had no idea what to do. I kept telling myself, "It's not your business. Just go to sleep." But then I realized something that made my skin crawl. I had checked in at the same time as the front desk clerk, and they had told me that room was empty. I called the front desk and told them what I heard. The receptionist just paused. Then she said something that made me feel even worse. "We'll send someone to check. Stay in your room." That was enough for me. I packed my bags and left immediately. As I pulled out of the parking lot, I glanced up at the room next door. And I swear, I saw the curtain move. But no one was supposed to be inside. I still don't know what happened in that room, and I don't want to.